Hello, good morning. Actually, good afternoon for most of you, early afternoon. I am here for Wellness Wednesday, and I'm a little late. I'm a little late, to be honest, because I took Mick to a park today. It's his first birthday, so I wanted to give him a little special present. He is one. He is our black lab who has brought so much joy. You might see him moseying around and sniffing and shaking, right? He is my buddy when I work from home. So you can see his little head. Hi. So he was very excited that he got to go into a park, and we did a couple laps, but that's why I'm late today. So I wanted to hop on because I did a good weight loss talk on Monday. If you didn't catch it, you can scroll back and I talked about weight loss, or you can go to my business page of Imagine Wellness and it will live there forever. I wanted to talk about weighing yourself, weighing your body weight, and how I titled it Stop the Scale, It Makes You Gain Weight. So it's a little bit of a title grab, but what does that mean? So how many of you, if you're watching, weigh yourself? Weigh yourself on a scale at home. There's so many different ways you can do it. I want to take a step back and say that weighing yourself is, oops, you're shaking. Weighing yourself is not necessarily bad or good. So let's remove the judgment on it and let's look at what it can do. I think it could go one of two ways. The scale can be used when you're weighing yourself at home. It can be a measurement that can be supportive. It also can be a measurement that can be destructive. And sometimes in our society, it tends to lead towards more of a destructive. And so there's a lot of recommendation on to not weigh yourself. And I've had several conversations this morning on why. I want you to think about when you are a good listener to somebody, when you can actually sit in front of somebody and you listen and you hear what they're saying, but you actually hear what they're actually saying. They're saying things that have implications like, I'm trying to think of a good example. They are talking about maybe their favorite tattoo. Okay, let's just be their favorite tattoo. And they love tattoos and their favorite tattoos. But then when you actually are listening to them, the tattoo is about their kid that they lost to a tragic accident. And you learn something about their story, that they carry grief. And then you actually learn something about them and you listen, and even though they didn't say they carry grief, you actually know and you lean into it and you listen to the conversation. And if you weren't listening to understand, you were just listening to the words, you would just think, okay, they love tattoos. Well, I don't like tattoos, so we don't have anything in common. But actually you do have something in common because you just lost a parent a couple weeks ago and you carry grief. And now that you're listening, you actually understand that you're very similar, even though that they have tattoos and you don't. Okay, so let's just take that example. When you step on the scale and you're using that as an indicator for your health, you're not listening to your body. You're checking a measurement of a physical outcome, and you're using that to validate not worth as a person, but the efforts. So it's not that weighing 150, 250, 350 pounds, it's not a bad thing to know, but when you're using that number to dictate how you listen to your body, you're short-selling yourself. You're actually not listening to what your body needs. I just got off of a great phone call with a colleague that I met, 18 years ago, and she's a beautiful soul. And we just kind of talked, and we're talking about how you listen and what are some ways we can listen to ourselves and our bodies and nature and the scale in our culture that is inundated with stimulation, with messages of success, the scale can be one of the most destructive because it's one measurement that actually doesn't reflect anything other than your gravitational pull towards the earth. That's it. Think about a dog. Think about animals. Do you think if they stepped on a scale that would dictate, and I know they have different brains than us, but would that dictate how they eat, how they move, how they shake off stress? Have you ever seen a deer or even a dog? They shake, right? They're removing some energy that might be built up. If you ever experience or see a dog or even a deer experience something stressful, like they had to run away from a car, or we had lightning and thunder yesterday and Mick was very scared. He had a lot of stress hormones and they literally, they shake it off. It wouldn't be too socially acceptable for us to walk around as humans and shake it off. I mean, you could, but you'd get some funny looks. And so how we expend our energy, how we move energy around by stepping on a scale, some people are going, okay, the weight's okay. What if you were to take the scale away and listen to your body, how it feels? You most likely know, I feel like I'm retaining fluid. I feel like I've weight gained. I can feel it. You don't need that external measurement. It's a fascinating conversation to ask what that external measurement is doing for you. If you can emotionally step on a scale and there's no emotional reaction, you can use the scale in a very wise way. If you step on the scale and there's any memories that pop up from past traumas, from past body imaging messaging that you may have not received, the scale is not helping you. It's destructive. Until you can have a relationship with a scale that you can step on it, and no matter the number, if it's 120, 130, 140, 150, no matter the number, you can still remain calm and you're not pinged, go ahead, keep using it. But if you're pinged in any way, there might be a relationship there worth looking at. There might be, okay, how can I look at this a little differently where I can learn to listen to my body and not need the external measurement as validation? Okay, let's remove the scale and let's start fresh. How can you learn to listen to your body, which takes patience and compassion and just slowing down and not rushing so much? I've had clients, especially kiddos, who they've been exposed to the scale since they can remember. They've seen mommy and daddy step on the scale and they either give them high fives if they've lost weight. I was in a culture in college where I was on the dance team, which dance and gymnastics and all of these types of things have a cliche of kind of celebrating weight loss. I did experience where I would step on the scale in front of my team and if I lost weight, they cheered for me and they gave me high fives. And I was never technically diagnosed with any sort of disordered eating or never received treatment, but I've been in cultures where it was celebrated to be smaller. It was celebrated for weight loss. I've been in weight loss cultures where it was celebrated to lose weight. And there can be celebrations to better your health. I don't think it's a small thing if you have done bariatric surgery, which I've spent time in, and it changes their life and they're better people for it. I think it's a consideration when the scale becomes a crutch, it becomes emotionally dysregulating, and it also becomes where you can show up better when you're at a certain weight. And so it's an interesting conversation on how is this serving me? How is this serving me to show up as a wife? How is this serving me to show up as a mom? Whatever roles you play in your life, how is this serving me to show up as, an employee or a business owner, whatever? If it's serving you to show up, to connect better and to love better with other people, but is it showing up for you to connect better and to love yourself better? Not in a vapid way, but in a way where you can listen to yourself and you're kind to yourself and you like yourself. Because if it's coming from, I will be a better person when the scale says a certain number, that's only going to last so long, and it's not sustainable, at least from my experience. And so I could be wrong, but I've been a dietitian for about 2 decades. And these are the lessons that I've learned from my experience working with people. And so I'm not here to say that I know everything, because I don't at all. But I do know when you come from a compassionate, gentle, kind place, that is going to serve you much better than a militant, measurable scale place. So if the scale, again, can be like a friend, like a check-in, and a very, I was on a call yesterday with some coaches, and your relationship with that accountability and that check-in is kind, and you don't feel judged. A lot of times what I was learning is people that have used the scale for accountability, there's a lot of trauma and there's a lot of shame with accountability, and that's not helpful, at least not long-term. Fear, there's a difference between fear and love. And so what I'm proposing is, by removing the scale away, you're taking a chance to love yourself and say, how can I actually listen to my body? Not how much I weigh, because it really doesn't matter. It does matter how you feel. That matters. It matters your quality of life. So don't take this away and say the scale doesn't matter. It can be a part of your health, but is not the health. So if you have a rocky relationship with the scale, you can take it away. We can introduce it, and there can be some processing around it. But sometimes it can actually be so destructive, where it causes so much damage, which actually leads to further weight gain. Which, if that is okay, that is okay. That's where your body's meant to live. But if that's causing more discomfort, it's kind of fun to look at. So if this conversation is serving or valuable, please share it. Please tag somebody. Maybe tagging somebody might feel a little brazen, but share it. It's going to live on my Imagine Wellness business page. It is public, and you can share that or copy the link. And I can, so hi John, did you just call me Pam? Oh, I love you, John. But it's Patty. Whoops. So anyway, thank you for the conversation, and I can picture you laughing. I enjoy your laugh. I enjoy your smile. You have one of the best smiles I've ever seen. We were talking about you. It was me, Coach Ford, and Coach Haw. And we were talking about you, how that was almost 20 years ago when I taught with Redlands, and you were one of my favorite students at the time. So you were always smiling. Try it. Try not weighing yourself. If you do, see how you can listen to your body. If that doesn't work, give me a call. We can have a conversation. I can definitely assess how you're thinking. It's a free link. It's free. It's on your phone. It takes 10 minutes. And I can look at how are you thinking about this. And it might just be a slight shift on how you think about your body, how you think about your weight, how you think about eating. And that will be much more sustainable than any fad diet possible. So thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time, and have a wonderful Wednesday. Bye.